Chancellor Rachel Reeves is facing intense pressure over the state of living standards in the United Kingdom, with opponents and some economic commentators warning that many families are being squeezed by slow wage growth, rising taxes and weak economic performance. In recent months, independent analysts and critics have painted a bleak picture of the UK's economic outlook. After the government's latest budget, the Institute for Fiscal Studies and other think tanks said living standards are likely to grow only very modestly over the next few years, with average disposable incomes rising at one of the slowest rates on record. The measures, including a continued freeze on income tax thresholds and increases in other levies, are expected to pull millions of workers into higher tax brackets, effectively reducing take-home pay even as prices remain high. Opposition parties and some economists argue these changes represent a significant break from earlier pledges made by the Labour Party. They say that promises not to raise taxes on working people have been undermined, leaving ordinary households to shoulder a heavier burden while wage growth lags behind inflation and everyday costs. Public sentiment in recent polling reflects widespread dissatisfaction, with a large proportion of voters telling pollsters they do not feel better off under the new fiscal plan. The government, however, rejects claims of broken promises and defends its strategy as necessary to address long-standing economic challenges. Reeves and other ministers have pointed to inherited issues such as stagnant productivity and broader global pressures that they say have hampered growth across advanced economies, including the UK. They also highlight measures in the budget designed to cut the cost of living, such as targeted energy bill reductions, rail fare freezes and investment in healthcare and infrastructure as part of a long-term plan to boost opportunities for households and businesses. Despite these policy defenses, the economic backdrop remains difficult. Official figures show unemployment rising to multi-year highs, and consumer savings rates falling as taxes and living costs squeeze disposable incomes. Critics argue that rising employer costs and regulatory changes have dampened business confidence and hiring, while others warn that without stronger growth, living standards could stagnate or even worsen for many families. Labour ministers, for their part, emphasise that living standards cannot be improved overnight, especially after more than a decade of sluggish wage growth and inflation pressures predating their government. They maintain that tough choices are necessary to restore economic stability and lay the groundwork for sustainable wage and job growth, even as they acknowledge there is more work to do to achieve meaningful improvement for working-class households. As the debate continues, the question of whether Reeves's fiscal approach will translate into better living conditions for the public, or deepen economic discontent, remains one of the defining political issues of the moment.